evening, everybody, and welcome to the annual Wellspring Foundation for Education fundraising gala. We have a great, full, fun, fantastic night planned for you, including silent auction and marketplace as always, greetings from Rwanda, a heartwarming documentary film, a special guest presenter, as well as entertainment and spoken word, and of course, special words from our brand new CEO, Mr. Kevin Dixon. And because this is our second year in virtual events, and because the organizers are terrified of what I might say on camera if left alone, we have not one host for you tonight, but two hosts. Please welcome a very familiar face, Mr. Jake Kostelik.
Hello, welcome. I am Jake Kostelik, as he already mentioned, and I am tonight's MC, which I've been told by the Wellspring team means manager of Cliff.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
No, it's a joke. It's a joke.
No, your suit. Wow, that is white, and it's tight. It's it sheds new light on the term tighty whitey. That is a tighty whitey.
Yeah, well, you know what? This is the only suit I had. I had 4 suits laid out, and I tried them all on. It's pandemic time. I haven't worn a suit in a year and a bit, unfortunately, due to my copious amount of sorrow eating of the last year. This is the last one standing. It's the only one that fits. I mean, it fit in 2020.
But your vision isn't 2020.
Speaking of vision, Wellspring has a bold new vision for the years ahead that builds on 17 years of work in developing quality education in Rwanda. We are intentionally and proactively working to remove the barriers that continue to leave children behind in their participation in learning.
These barriers include student dropout, gender inequality, ill-equipped teachers, disengaged parents, physical punishment, poverty, and language barriers.
Rwanda is seeking to ensure that every child receives the quality education that they deserve, and we are here to support that work. Specifically, we're here to raise $200,000 to support that work.
Inclusive education, I love that theme. And who better to introduce the theme of inclusion than two middle-aged white guys?
As we jump deeper into our program, we'd like to stop first and acknowledge that the lands in which we are filming here today in Langley, BC, are the unceded traditional territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katsi, and Semiahmoo First Nations.
As well, we're also coming to you from Oakville, so we want to honor their traditional lands as well. The Anishinaabe, the Ottawandaran, the Haudenosaunee, the Métis, the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations.
And we're not just coming to you here from Canada. We're coming to you from Rwanda. Here to share greetings from Rwanda, please welcome enthusiastically Marie-Jeanne Tuyasenge.
Greetings from Rwanda. My name is Insenga Marie-Jeanne. I'm one of Wellspring's community involvement trainers in Gasabo district. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we share about Wellspring's vision to see every child receive quality education and to see classrooms become places where every child belongs. We are so grateful for your partnership in this work, and we hope that you will be inspired tonight to continue standing with us as we work towards this vision in the years ahead. On behalf of Wellspring team here in Rwanda, we thank you and we wish you a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Marie-Jeanne. It's great to hear you from all the way out in Rwanda. And for those of you at home, please, in the chat, let us know where you're coming from. And if you know your traditional territories that you're on, add that in the chat too, because we'd love to know. And if you don't know, look it up. It's important information. And for those of you hosting a party at your own house right now, please eat, drink, have a good time, and dance it up. No one's watching.
Sorry, I think I just got disco fever.
Yeah, we're not making fever jokes tonight, man.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think you want to bend in that because it's not good.
You're just jealous that you know I could tear up the dance floor.
The only thing tearing up are your pants.
That's not really funny, man.
Sorry.
My wife, she talked me into it. I was really nervous and she talked me into it, and here I am, and I just don't appreciate you making fun of it.
Listen, I don't think she talked you into it, all right? She greased you into it. And I don't think it hurts because of your feelings. I think it hurts because it's cutting off your blood circulation. Listen, I'm sorry for poking fun of you. I'll stop poking. I don't want it to pop.
Okay, speaking of popping, I need to say it. You've got a big zit right there.
Are you serious? This isn't a zit, okay?
Oh.
It was a traumatic injury.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's okay. I didn't know. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. So anyways.
Okay, since you asked though, so we were watching carpenter ants. Like my son and I were seeing them go into our house. They're going into the siding, but we don't have them in the house. So my son was like, maybe they're in the attic. So
busy day.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It was a lot of fun. So we have one of those like spring-loaded kind of trap doors that come from the and then the ladder folds out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was walking into the attic on the ladder, and there was a loud creak, and the ladder flexed, and then the spring and the metal bar separated, a bolt snapped, and it whipped back, and I tried flinching, but it caught me right here. And it just, like, I just stumbled back off the ladder.
Okay, sorry. You were making fun of how poorly my suit is fitting, but you snapped a ladder.
I bled a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry again.
So I held my head, and it's just like there was pools of blood in my hand, and so I stumbled over to the bathroom sink. I got on my hands and knees over the sink and just was catching it. And so my son was there, of course, and I was very calm. I said, "Can you please, Simon? Can you please go get me a towel?"
Mm-hmm.
And so he went to the kitchen and got a white a white tea towel. I'm like, I don't mean to be picky, but could you go to the linen cabinet and get me a burgundy towel? So he brought that. I'm like, could you get me my phone, please? Because we're going to have to call Grandpa. And so he was fumbling with my phone. He couldn't open it up. So I took it, and then I washed up, and I looked, and I realized, you know what? The bleeding stopped. The head's a bleeder. The bleeding was stopping. It was slowing down. So I was like, okay. And I'm like, Simon, it's okay, bud. You did a great job. The bleeding's stopping. The hole is small. We're okay. And then he just started bawling. But the funny thing is, if that wasn't funny enough for you, the funny thing is my daughter, her bedroom is right beside the bathroom, right outside of where the ladder goes. So she heard the commotion. She came out, she saw the blood, she saw her brother crying, and then she just went back into her room and closed the door.
She sounds like a sociopath.
She is a sociopath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, though, Simon himself, though, the fact that he carried all the burdens himself, and then he just totally imploded. And the thing is like that's the problem that we have. We carry the weight of all the things we're talking about, and we have this huge burden, and we feel like we need to be the savior, right? But all we need to do is we need to engage. We're the sharer. We need to be present. We need to engage. But we do need you to engage. Don't go back into your room and just slam the door, all right?
It's true.
Somewhere in the middle.
It's true. We need you. We need you to engage. How? Well, why don't you say hello in the chat box, which is available on your computer if you're watching at home.
And of course, we have the silent auction, and we've got a great bunch of items. Yeah. You get bread from a year from Cobb's Bread, either in Tawasin or in Langley.
And when you are done consuming those carbs, if you've bought the next gift, you'll be very excited because it's water biking for 4 in Vancouver. And from what I hear from the Wellspring team, it's an amazing way to not only burn calories, but to see the city.
And don't forget the marketplace. These are awesome selection of goods straight from Rwanda, like a handcrafted chess set, arts, home decor, books, and toys.
And the auction, just to clarify, the auction and marketplace will close tomorrow, Friday the 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific or 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
So do not miss that. And of course, we need you to donate. So please
Absolutely.
Engage by donating. We would like your money.
Tonight, we invite you to give generously to support Wellspring's work in developing quality education that every child needs and deserves. Our goal is to raise $200,000. And I know $200,000 is a lot of money, especially 14 months into this pandemic.
And especially after I bought these shoes.
Wow, those are nice.
Thank you.
I recently bought my daughter a new bike, which we needed. So
we upgraded our garden with 4x4 posts.
I bought actually new tents for camping this summer too.
We got new laundry machines, like they're the LG ones.
Oh, those steam?
And they make sounds.
Oh yeah.
Beep, 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 beep.
Those are fancy. Must be expensive.
Yeah, so it was an expensive year. It was a hard year.
Yeah, but your support is needed more than ever right now. Our support is needed more than ever. If you give to Wellspring already, thank you. If we can ask that you give just a little bit more.
Or a lot more.
Or a lot more.
You give a lot more, that'd be great.
That would be wonderful.
And amazing news, for every dollar you donate towards our $200,000 goal, it'll be matched. So you make a donation, it gets doubled.
You can make a one-time donation or sign up as a monthly donor. Please feel free to visit anytime this evening, wellspring.ngo/gala to give. And if you sign up for a monthly gift of $55 a month or more, you'll be invited to an exclusive after-party call with some very special guests.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder who it could be. You know what? John Bon Jovi is now on Cameo.com. So maybe it's him. You know, living on a prayer.
Yeah.
It's Christian.
Totally.
Yeah. Or George Clooney, I wonder.
Why?
Could George Clooney? Well, because I think he might be my dad. So I'd like to meet him.
George Clooney, your dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you say George Clooney or Johnny Knoxville?
Wait, are you saying that?
You're no, I didn't.
You know what? You're giving love a bad name.
Okay, actually, the after parties are hosted by one of our amazing Wellspring leaders. Each will call, provide an opportunity to share a little bit more of what's going on behind the scenes in Rwanda.
Yeah, and for $54 and under, Jake will show up on your doorstep in this suit, singing you a special greeting. So what we're saying is donate $55 or more every month. As we call it the Freedom 55 plan. The Freedom from Jake plan for only $55 a month.
You're going to want to do that.
You definitely want to do that.
And be sure to watch our chat online for the fundraising updates throughout the course of this evening.
Awesome. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for engaging. You could have been anywhere tonight. Of all the places you could have been tonight, you chose to be right here watching this.
Thank you so much. You could be in your kitchen.
Yeah, you could be in your bedroom.
Tonight, you could be getting gasoline or groceries.
Or sitting on your patio by yourself.
Or in your garage. I mean, there's so many places that you could be.
So you made the sacrifice, and we really appreciate it. Man, if I wasn't here, I'd be watching Netflix.
I would be watching Sportsnet now. We just got it.
Yeah, I've got DAZN and TSN also.
Oh, that's expensive.
With the shoes, things are tight.
We finished, actually, Disney Plus, so we've
moved on. You finished Disney Plus.
It's been a long year, so we've moved on to Hulu, which is not cheap either.
Well, we've also got Crave, Prime, Apple TV. We really have all those stations.
Actually.
We have a problem. And you have a problem too, we're assuming. So to accommodate your unending thirst for media, we're giving you a show right now. We have a brand new documentary film that we want you to enjoy.
This year, for the very first time, we've partnered with the Rwandan production company 64 Waves and filmmaker Olivier Habiyamremye, as well as our own Jeff Heath from Digital Handshake.
And they're here to share the stories of children, teachers, and parents who are playing a part in seeing barriers broken down in transformative ways.
Roll it!
I think the reason each child should be included in school is to help him or her to learn and achieve and fulfill his dreams.
At school, my fellow pupils, they integrated me, they welcomed me, and they have been friends with me. They didn't segregate or they didn't reject me. We played together and learned together.
The way the teacher helped me, for the first time when I came to school, teacher took me into the classroom and he told other students, please take care, treat well as you treat yourself. the intervention of Wellspring in regards to inclusive education aims to see schools in the future that are the best place for children to be. You know, we want children to come to a level, all the children, irrespective of who they are and where they come from, to get to a level where they understand that the best place for them to be is the school. We want the schools to be friends of children. We want teachers, we want school leaders to be friends of the children, you know, and we want them to make an impact in the lives of the children, so that even when these children have graduated from these schools, they will continue to remember that they got support in those schools, and it is that support that got them where they are now.
We think that inclusion is that process that looks for addressing all learners with special educational needs and disabilities to ensure that they learn in a mainstream education system. Inclusion means access. Children with special educational needs, children with disabilities should have access. So they need to be identified and referred to where they can get these services. But after just reaching the setting where they have to reach this, to get these services, they also need to make sure that barriers are removed and they participate. So participation is the second component of what we call inclusion.
We've made some progress, but there's still a long way to go in terms of access, as I've said, because there are children who are not accessing schools. They are not going to school at all. And there are also children who are at school, but they may not be accessing the curriculum. So that's another challenge, because going to school does not necessarily mean that they are learning. So they need some special support for them to be able to learn. But then there are also others who may not be able to succeed in the ordinary schools, and they need to be in a special school. So the government of Rwanda is trying its best to be able to respond to all these needs. It has started. There are some things that have been done, but as I've indicated, there's still a long way to go. We as a teacher we are not capable to support such child, because number one, we don't have special skills to support those kind of children with disability.
Yeah, challenges are many because we do not have enough materials to help them, to support them. But again, it requires extra time to care and to give what others have received.
Teachers don't have enough skills to cater for those kids with disabilities or special education needs. Schools don't have enough equipment to cater for those kids. But when we go even in families in the community, some parents are not brave enough to think that their kids with disabilities can learn and achieve something. Some of those parents don't even send their children to school.
Some teachers lack capacity to really meaningfully, if I may say, take care of these children. But we know that the policies are there, well-written policies are there, but what is the problem is the implementation of those policies. So we are still lacking ability to synchronize policies that come from the top and how they are implemented at the school level.
I think each child should be included in a school because each child needs to learn and achieve to his fullest potential. The reason why I'm here at school, I want to learn like other children and fulfill my dreams.
Urwo rugendo tumazemo imyaka 6 tugendana rwaranzwe n'urukundo n'impuhwe nyinshi.
As parents, we bought all needed materials, and in addition to that, we used to come with him at school to make him more familiar with the school. One thing I'm happy with is to see him going out from the house and meeting other students, going to school, learning with them, and coming back after learning something new. That is what I'm really happy with.
Some of the people who support me in my learning are my colleagues. Because of physical disability, when we are from school back home, he gets tired, and what we do for him is to take his bag and carry it and hold his hand and get him to.
I keep encouraging him as my colleague in the same class, telling him you are like any other kid, you are capable, you can learn, you can achieve many things. I keep encouraging him. I like my teachers very much, and I have learned from them that I have to receive every kid without segregating any, because they receive all kids and they help all of them without discriminating any, without saying this has a disability, but they take care of every child in the class. As a teacher, I feel that inclusive education is important and necessary, because before, some kids were denied their rights to attend school, and they were not given opportunities to come to school as any others. And due to that, some kids felt they are incapable of studying and they can't do anything. But once they were given rights to come to school, they felt that they are also capable, they can do something. That makes me see that inclusive education is important and is necessary, because every kid is capable of learning and achieving something in their life. As a kid with disability, he is loved. Even if he has disability, other kids in the classroom, they love him. They love him so much.
One advice I can give to parents who have children with disability is to come close to them, play with them, talk to them. Once you talk to them, there is something new they are learning on a daily basis.
Yes, I see that every kid has to come to school, has to be included, regardless of whether they are girls, boys, poor, disabled. They have all to come to school so that they cannot get discouraged, or so that they can feel free to come and be included in the classroom and learn with others.
I want to be a doctor because I want to treat my colleagues.
When there is a child with disability in the classroom, the first benefit is that the child himself or herself develops confidence to feel that he is or she is valued. Such kids feel they are capable because we take care of them and show them love. They feel that they are also important people in the community. Even other kids in the classroom who are not disabled, they see that that kid is like them. You see that their mindset towards people with disabilities keep changing. As a result, the whole society or community of the school changes, and they change their mindset and the mentality towards people with disabilities, and they feel that every kid has the right to come to school and learn. You see that nobody is segregated in the school. They feel that everybody is welcome in the school environment.
If materials, like teaching, learning materials, are made accessible or inclusive, they benefit all the children with or without disabilities. And if you have adapted your teaching learning materials in such a way that they include each and everyone, even those that do not have disabilities will benefit. For instance, a school, you make it inclusive, you remove the steps or stairs, you put in a ramp. Children without disabilities can just use the ramp, but it's hard for children with disabilities to use the stairs. So you see how even the inclusive practices benefit those without disabilities.
And the schools that were built when we had that understanding that, children with disabilities should not go to school, they are now being transformed to ensure that they provide access to the children with disabilities. And awareness has been created. As I've indicated, at least the Rwandan community understands generally, that every child, including the child with disability, they have the right to education.
At the beginning, when I first came to school, all people could not believe their eyes. They could all come look at me as if it's a miracle, it's something strange. But I thank teachers because they did all they should do to welcome me, to take care of me. And they helped me so much in my learning. Now, as a result of that, I'm performing well. Despite different challenges I faced, what I learned is that for the first time as children, all classmates were surprised to see me. They could look at me as something new. But slow by slow, it helped me to understand what is inclusive education. Because I felt like now I'm a part of the community. I felt like I'm also a student like others. So even today, I'm attending my class without any fear, any problem, or any other challenge.
I am very much excited by what Wellspring is trying to do as far as inclusive education is concerned, because when we look at our vision, 2024 for every child, I think that something special is going to be done to help teachers include even those kids with cognitive and intellectual disabilities, because in the schools we operate in, we have had requests of many teachers asking us, please, why can't you train us so that we can be able to support these kids who have cognitive disabilities? And I'm very much happy and I'm excited to think that these teachers will be supported, will be trained to know how they can handle those children.
For a teacher to help those kind of children, it requires them to have skills, important skills special skills, deep understanding of how they can help them, of when they can help them or support them, and with which to support them. So they still have they need a kind of empowerment, training, and so on, so that they can be capable of helping them.
We are mobilizing families to cater for their children. We are working alongside, as I said, with school leaders, teachers, to work with all children. And whatever we do, training teachers to be friends, to be parents of the children that are seated in front of them.
Wellspring is among the first organizations that have trained teachers, encouraging them to use learner-centered methodology and include every child in their lesson. Inclusion is an important part of our work because every kid has a right to education. And if it is every kid, none has to be left behind, because all kids go to school so that they can fulfill their potential, God-given potentials, so that they can be active participants in the development of our nation.
That was so good and so important to understand that every child is capable of learning and every child has the right to learn.
And we are now delighted to introduce to you a guest presenter and a proud Wellspring partner, Dr. Edith Vanderbilt.
Dr. Edith Vanderbilt has been an educator for almost 35 years. She's a professor. She's also currently the director of the Master of Arts in Educational Leadership at the Institute of Christian Studies. Dr. Vanderbilt is an expert in special education for children and knows firsthand the difference that inclusive education can make in the classroom. Edith has devoted her entire life to making this a reality for children.
Please welcome Dr. Edith Vanderbilt.
Good evening, everybody. It's so great to be here. My name is Edith Vanderbilt, and I am a professor and the director of the Master of Arts in Educational Leadership at the Institute for Christian Studies. I've been an educator for over 35 years, and I am just really excited to be able to just chat with you a little bit about my passions in education. Inclusive education is really important to me. I think it comes from a history that I had as a child. When I was a student in elementary school, school was challenging. It was not easy for me. And I had teachers who loved me and cared for me, but they didn't always have the right tools that they needed to make me feel included and to really help me in that learning journey. And so inclusive education for me as an educator is so important because I want other students to have experiences where they are enjoying the learning process. Whether they are strong academically or whether they're struggling academically, I think school and learning should be a real positive experience for students. When I think of an inclusive classroom, I really think about teachers appreciating and valuing each and every student in their classroom. No matter where they come from, what they look like, no matter what their skills are, that child, every child is valued. And that's a really important part of having an inclusive classroom and an inclusive education. When a student is part of a classroom that is inclusive, they feel a sense of belonging. And I really think that that sense of belonging is foundational to learning. If a student doesn't feel like they are valued or that they belong, then right away things start falling apart and learning becomes more difficult for them. When they have this sense that I belong and I can learn and I know I can make next steps, I can make progress in what I'm doing, then they feel like they can just make those next steps. And so it's really exciting to see students who feel valued, because then automatically they put that much more effort into their work, and we see changes and we see growth in their learning. So inclusive education in Canada has been growing over the last 25 years. It's something that we continue to work at and we are continuing to try to get better at. And it's really important because that's the foundation for every child feeling a sense of belonging and knowing that they have a place where they can learn in a safe place. This is important not only in Canada but worldwide. And the work that Wellspring is doing is actually very intentional about creating environments where inclusive education is valued, where teachers know that each child brings with them a different identity, different skills, and different value. And it's really important that even in Rwanda, as here in Canada, that we all start with those shared values so that students have a wonderful opportunity to make their next steps in their learning. I am really excited about the work that Wellspring does with the teachers in Rwanda. I think right from the start, when I heard about it, I just thought it was just so structured so well. I love that teachers are training teachers. It's not people from Canada who are coming into those schools and training the Rwanda teachers to do things the Canadian way. I think they need to do it their way. And Wellspring really supports teachers in Rwanda in that particular way. And so I am so happy to support Wellspring because I believe in what it's doing, and I think the work that they do is just so important. I know in part of their vision statement is 3 words: justice, worth, and dignity. When you think of a classroom and you think of where you want your child or a child that you know to be, you want them to be in a classroom where there is justice, where they feel worth, and where they feel a sense of dignity. And that is what Wellspring is working with in the teachers that they are working with in Rwanda. It is wonderful for you all to be joining tonight, even though this is a virtual event. It's exciting to hear about the work that is being done, to watch that video, and to think about what's happening not only in our education system here in Canada, but around the world. As Christians, we are called to love God and love our neighbors. And as you know, especially during this time of the pandemic, the world has become smaller. We can meet and reach so many more people through technology. And so it's exciting tonight to be able to be part of this, to be part of this journey and to support this organization.
Thank you, Dr. Edith Vanderbilt.
Can I just say that is a solid Dutch name?
Mm-hmm.
Vanderboom actually means of the tree, like Psalm 1, right? Like a tree planted by streams of living water. And that was your message. It was refreshing, it was inspiring, and very insightful. Thank you.
Do you know that Kostelijk actually is a Dutch name, and it means precious or very expensive?
Aren't you a builder?
Yeah.
That's a terrible name for a builder.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. What does Prang mean?
Well, it's a German last name,
okay.
But both my parents are Dutch.
Okay.
I'm not sure what it means to the Dutch or the Germans, but to the British, a prang is it's an accident.
Your parents didn't want you. Anyways.
I have a Dutch joke I'd like to share.
Oh, no.
It's a pun. We had a pet parakeet. We named him the Flying Dutchman. It was either that or Mr. Cheap Cheap.
Great transition to remind our folks at home to not be a Mr. or Mrs. Cheap Cheap, but to, in fact, be very generous this evening.
So get on our silent auction, get into the marketplace. They close tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
We have some great gift certificates to stores, nurseries, restaurants.
Sorry,
yeah.
Nurseries? Like what do they sell there? Like, do they sell babies?
No, Cliff, it's not a human nursery. It's a plant nursery. They sell plants, not humans.
Okay, because I missed Mother's Day, and I thought if I came home with a baby, my wife would be pumped.
Yeah. What you could do instead is actually go to the plant nursery and buy her plants. And I think she'd be just as or more excited.
With the gift card from the silent auction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or I have a better idea.
What?
You could get a family photography session with Kindred Photography, which is also on the auction.
That is a great idea. So let's be sure to hit our $200,000 goal. And now we have a spoken word piece. And for those of you who don't know spoken word, it's like a poem, but cooler.
So like a rap?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not really.
Oh, okay. Well, our spoken word artist is based here in BC, and he works in the film and music industries. His passion for creative arts has helped shape a diverse career from acting, writing, music production, and running his own production company, Visionary Productions. He has Rwandan roots and has been living here in Canada for 28 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ian Insenga.
I've always loved always loved music. I've loved writing, and it's a God-given talent, and I love using it for the things that I have passion for. And I felt like, being from Rwanda and having a organization that's supporting people from my country, it's a perfect fit for me to be able to use my talent and gifts to give back to an organization that's giving back. In a way, I feel like I'm also supporting my people through the organization. So I feel that Wellsprings resonates to me not only for the connection I've had in the past with them, but the connection I have in the present and what they're doing currently in Rwanda.
Gotta work hard so we benefit. Never too late, so we celebrate. I gotta thank God cause he made a way. So that you smile for a brighter day. Never too late, yeah, to make a change. Yeah, we're gonna make a change. So we celebrate. Never too late, yeah, to make a change. Gotta make a change. Yeah, so we celebrate. It's amazing how much we can change. Born in a world where including ain't the same. Refusing to be vain, I remember all the pain. Sitting by myself where no one knew my name. So I could be the same, but we could be the change that the youth need today. Give them the voice and show them the way. They are the future, our hearts and our pride. Find what is hidden deep within the mind. The path of forgiveness to honor our children, cause this is the mission and Wellspring the vision. And Wellspring's the vision. Gotta work hard so we benefit. Never too late, so we celebrate. I gotta thank God cause he made a way. So that you smile for a brighter day. Never too late, yeah, to make a change. Yeah, we're gonna make a change. So we celebrate. Never too late, yeah, to make a change. Gotta make a change. Yeah, so we celebrate.
Just eloquently spoken. Now we'll hear from a much different bloke. It's time to welcome our brand new CEO. Streaming in all the way from London, Ontario. He's married to Jennifer with their two boys, Spencer and Evan. And interestingly enough, that rhymes with his name, which is Kevin. To be sensible, he sold his Harley hog, replaced it with Rosie, which is a super cute golden retriever puppy dog. They both got vaccinated at the same time. You'll be fascinated, he reacted, but now he's doing fine. He's safe against COVID and he's also free from worms. And as a newbie to Wellspring, he's learning all their fancy terms, such as asset-based community development, or vibrant school communities, or transformational relationships. So many terms. He studied human rights in Strasbourg, France. He studied human rights in Strasbourg, France. And if we're lucky, he'll do a cyborg dance. That was weird, but what can I do? Sometimes it's awkward when we have to meet somebody new. He's only been at the helm since July, but we know this for sure. Kevin Dixon, he's a great guy. Let's welcome Kevin Dixon, the cat hater. We don't know that he hates cats or if that's a fact, but he bought a dog, so we can assume it's a fact that is what is that he hates cats. But we don't know for sure, but we can assume. Welcome Kevin Dixon, don't forget his name. That's why I'm gonna sing it so many times, it's gonna drive you insane. Welcome Kevin Dixon, 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 cut me off anytime. Oh, Kevin Dixon, Kevin Dixon, Kevin Dixon.
There's an upside to being an online speaker during COVID. The way I see it, where God closes a door, he opens a browser. Is it possible that God instructed humans to build this ark called the internet even before we knew it would rain like it's been raining for the past year? We're able to stay in touch like never before. This year we have people participating in Wellspring's Gala from numerous provinces in Canada and even Rwanda. Welcome. In a flight of fancy, I imagine myself this evening speaking across the entire globe, because this is, after all, the World Wide Web. And you, the listener, can discreetly hit the mute button anytime I seem boring. It's a win-win. When I was a little boy, I lived on a tree-lined street called Church Street in the small town of Ridgetown, Ontario. The biggest employers in Ridgetown were the Agricultural College, the book bindery, and a factory that manufactured brooms. My dad was the town's Anglican minister, so my family lived in the red brick rectory that was sandwiched between the little brick church and the parish hall. Every year at Christmas time, the local Rotary Club threw a party in the parish hall for kids from poor families in town. When I was 6, I was invited to the party. I'm sure it was because I was the minister's kid and the party was in the parish hall. It was a lot of fun. But the next year, when I was 7, I didn't get invited. In hindsight, I think it was an oversight, just an accidental omission. But on the evening of that party, I remember peering out the window of the rectory and seeing the other kids having so much fun next door. They had balloons and popcorn balls and cake and a visit from Santa and goodie bags. And I was 7. And all I had were a quivery chin and a lump in my throat. It was hard to fight back the tears because I just felt like I didn't belong. To know what it feels like to belong, it's good to remember the opposite, the experience of being excluded. Here's one experience. A Bible story I remember from Sunday school is of an encounter between Jesus and a woman described as a foreigner. To my little boy self in Sunday school, I thought it was rude, even unloving, that Jesus told her it would be wrong to feed the children's bread to dogs. Was he really calling her a dog? What happened to Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so? Jesus seems to have excluded her, And without some wise biblical interpretation, a kid in Sunday school could mistakenly think it's okay to exclude. It was an unfortunate experience for that woman in the Bible. But what redeems the story is how that woman spoke up. She advocated for herself and for her sick daughter, and she got what she came for. Where did such confidence arise from within her? I think it came from love. Now here's another experience. Life in Rwanda today is lived against the backdrop of the 1994 genocide. A friend of mine survived it. He's now a lawyer working for Canada's federal government. He shared with me that before 1994, schools and churches in Rwanda laid the groundwork for genocide to occur. Children in schools were taught that some belonged more than others. Churches instilled the idea that some were worthy of more respect than others. And so the world turned away as the situation became more and more fragile, even as thousands of Rwandan people fled to the Congo and Burundi and Uganda and elsewhere because they sensed growing danger. And before long, the rhetoric of exclusion became the rationale for execution. Romeo Dallaire, an outsider, we all know him, was one of few who stepped into the gap at significant personal cost. Where did his conviction come from? Well, from what I've learned about General Dallaire, it wasn't just out of duty. I think it came from love. Here's another experience, but now it's about belonging and not about exclusion. About 10 years after the genocide, a pair of recent grads from Trinity Western University heard people in Rwanda express the need for better education to prevent future violence in their country. And so soon, the Wellspring Foundation for Education was born. In conversations with the people of Rwanda, the people there spoke up for themselves and for their children, like the woman in the Bible who advocated for herself and for her daughter. And for the past 17 years, Wellspring has been training teachers and parents and community leaders to advocate for children, especially children living in poverty who might otherwise be excluded from opportunities they deserve. And when I say Wellspring has been training, who exactly do I mean? It's not graduates of North American universities who do the training. It's graduates of African universities. It's a locally led model. It's Rwandans, some of them returned from the diaspora to the Congo and Uganda, who do the training, caring for their own people. And where does their commitment come from? I know it comes from love. Today, Wellspring aims to expand the boundaries of belonging. 17 years' experience has taught us how to support not just children living in poverty, but increasingly children with physical and cognitive disabilities. Wellspring is making it a priority to focus our work to include children who might otherwise be sidelined, even by apparently benign circumstances. You know, if you're familiar with the theories of Abraham Maslow, we continue to focus on safety and security, which is the bottom tier of Maslow's hierarchy of need. But now we are also emphasizing the next tier of his hierarchy, which focuses on belonging. Last June, Wellspring's Board of Directors adopted Vision 2024 for every child. We are now putting a growing emphasis on children whose lives are difficult, especially girls, to help them feel they belong. And I'm pleased to let you know this evening that as part of Vision 2024, we are on the verge of expanding from Rwanda into Uganda in partnership with another faith-based organization called Kuwasha. Together, we will be working in the Rakai district surrounding the Ugandan town of Kibale. Currently, Wellspring touches the lives of almost 200,000 children, and with this expansion and other dreams that are not yet ready to be unveiled, we are determined to include many, many more, to keep them safe, to help them feel they belong, especially those who are amongst the most vulnerable. And where does this determination come from? I can tell you with absolute certainty, it comes from love. To know what it means to belong requires that we understand the experience of being excluded. Whether it's a little boy left out of a Christmas party, or a girl in Rwanda or Uganda whose circumstances shut her out from getting a good education, being excluded hurts. The woman in the gospel knew the importance of advocating on her daughter's behalf, and in a similar spirit, Wellspring works with the governments in Rwanda and Canada to advocate for the children we serve. This is another increased focus in our work, government advocacy. And so we are structuring our Rwandan team to make our government advocacy there even stronger than it is already. And this will be a growing focus of my work in Canada too. In all of this, you have the opportunity to make a difference, to serve the vulnerable, to reach more children, to advocate on their behalf. Money makes a big difference. Money is portable power. It can travel from North America to Africa and transform the lives of children who would otherwise be left out. Your financial support can touch the lives of children in places you may never visit, who speak languages you'll likely never speak. And yet, even without our being there, we're all in this together. I am proud to be a Canadian, but I don't identify first as a Canadian. My primary identity is as a child of God. I mean that for myself. And my desire is to walk alongside other children of God in Rwanda and Uganda and here and everywhere, so that all of us together can find a path to our own fuller humanity. I say this because, as some have heard me express before, the glory of God is a human being fully alive. Personally, my strongest feelings of belonging have come when I've joined hands with like-minded people for a cause we all believed in. And it's because I believe in Wellspring's cause that I'm honored to lead this organization. But have you ever noticed that there's something in human nature that makes some people care more about causes close to themselves that touch our own lives, our own families, in our own communities, for instance? I think that's natural, but I also think that by your participation here, you show just how unique you are in your outlook. By participating in this gala, you show that you care not only about important causes close to yourself, but also about a cause far away that benefits people you may never meet, who are easily forgotten, who are overlooked and easily excluded. The same people the world has turned its back on in the past. You care because you know how awful it feels to be excluded and how good it feels to belong. I want to thank you for caring. I believe it comes from love.
As Kevin mentioned, it sure feels good to join hands with like-minded people and gather around a cause we're all passionate about. I mean, personally, it's May of 2021. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure how comfortable I am with physically holding hands with any of you at this point in my life, but I have a better idea. Why don't we join together financially to support the amazing work that Wellspring is doing? Wellspring is about removing barriers to quality education, which forever changes the lives of children. Barriers like poverty, physical punishment, gender bias, dropout, inexperienced teachers, and ill-equipped parents. Barriers that many of us simply do not have to face in our daily lives. I've had the opportunity to travel to Rwanda to witness firsthand the work that Wellspring is doing. It was an amazing experience. I was able to go to a teacher training session in Rubavu and see Wellspring's teacher trainers investing in the lives of the teachers and equipping them with the tools that they need to succeed. I was able to tour schools and meet the teachers and hear the stories of how Wellspring's investment in their lives has not only changed their lives, but has directly impacted the lives of the children that they serve. I toured a school in Bweramvera where I met a young girl facing significant developmental challenges, learning equally alongside her peers and classmates. Through the work that Wellspring has done, doors are being opened to afford these vulnerable and marginalized children the rights and access to quality education that they deserve. But I also saw children that were not in school, children that were in the markets, children that were working in the fields. I would look in a house and see children that were taking care of their infant siblings. There is more work yet to do, incredibly important work. We are hoping to raise $200,000 tonight. $200,000 to provide more inclusive classrooms, to remove barriers, and to provide hope and a bright future for the next generation. Thank you for taking the time this evening to join with us, to celebrate the good work that's being done, and to learn about the challenges and obstacles we face, joining together, hand in hand, to ensure that every child receives the education that they deserve. Tonight, you can choose to make a one-time commitment or a monthly pledge. Head to wellspring.ngo/gala to give.
And this is, of course, bringing us to the conclusion of our event. But before we say goodbye, we just want to thank a few people. And we'd like to start by thanking all of the participants who made our documentary film come together. Olivier and his team at 64 Waves. We have Jeff Heath, who did all the excellent editing work here in Canada with Digital Handshake, as well as the Rwandan team who made this project come together.
And thank you so much to our program participants, Edith, Kevin, Ian, Marie-Jeanne, and Oscar, who you'll be hearing from shortly.
And thanks so much to each of you for giving generously, for partnering with us to see classrooms become a place where every child belongs.
And don't forget, auction and marketplace will be open till tomorrow, Friday, May 14th at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Our sincere thanks to all of our donors, our sponsors who've contributed to our matching pool, as well as to all our silent auction donors. We couldn't have done this event without you. So as we close, we are very excited for a very special performance by Oscar Mucho. And for those of you who have ever been to our Wellspring events before, you may actually remember Oscar from our 2014 Wellspring Gala in Vancouver.
Do you know that his wife, Kirsten, used to be the program director in Rwanda for Wellspring?
That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Kirsten and Oscar have been longtime friends of Wellspring, and now they live in Coventry, England. So it's very special that they're engaging tonight, that Oscar is going to perform for us. Thank you so much for singing for us tonight to close out our night.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for coming. We'll see you next time. Good job, Jake.
You too.
Sorry about all the digs I made on your suit.
I actually am going to wear it all day. I'm feeling confident now.
You should.
And I can't take it off.
You should take it off. Do you need help?
Do you have scissors?
Jaws of life?
In my mother's womb, you formed me with your hands, known and loved by you. Before I took a breath, when I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderful to me. You're an artist and a potter on the canvas and the clay. 'Cause you make make all things work together for my future and for my good. You make all things work together for your glory and for your name. Oh, there's a healing light just beyond the clouds. Love walks through fire. I see clearly now. I know nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. You're an artist and a part. I'm the canvas and the clay. 'Cause you make all things work together for my future and for my good. You make all things work together for your glory and for your name. You make all things work together for my future and for my good. You make all things work together for your glory and for your name. Oh, for your name. 'Cause when I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. Nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. When I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. 'Cause I know nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. 'Cause you make all things work together for my future and for my good. You make all things work together for your glory and for your name. You make all things work together for my future and for my good. You make all things work together for your glory and for your fame. When I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. I know nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. I know nothing has been wasted. No failure or mistake. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. You're an artist and a potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. You're not finished with me. You're not finished with me. You're not